If you're a guy who got snubbed and you haven't made it before, know that, yes, I can understand you're upset. Like Aaron Jones, for instance, of the Green Bay Packers. I'm sure he hasn't made a Pro Bowl yet. This year, he's been incredible. I mean, if you talk to Packers fans, you're talking about a guy who should be in MVP conversations for how well he's not in it. Austin Eckler for the Los Angeles Chargers, he's one of their biggest upsides. He's not in it, right? Dak Prescott was a snub, everybody says. He's playing for a 7-7 team. He has 11 interceptions. That's going to be difficult. But he has been also the most prolific offensive player in the NFL. He didn't make it. And Dak's been to the Pro Bowl before, I'm assuming. Has Dak been a Pro Bowler?
I think I've seen him playing dodgeball.
Quarterback for the Cowboys. Let's assume he's been in there before. So he's probably not taking it as bad as the people who have never made it, who have never had that feeling of being appreciated by their peers. And I think that's what it's all about. He's a two-time Pro Bowler?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a quarterback for the Cowboys is going to make it in
Well,
there.
the good news for Dak is they'll probably lose their first playoff game, and he'll get to go as an alternate anyway. So
That's probably how I got him before, I assume.
Oh, come on,
geez,
Tone.
take it easy.
I mean, Kirk Cousins is the biggest snub out of all of them.
I think Kirk Cousins, primetime Kirk, was born this year. Let's assume he should have been in there, but that NFC batch is a tough group to crack. I mean, you're talking in quarterbacks. That is a tough batch to crack right there. Drew Brees just broke every single record. He was out for 4 games and still gets in, which I'd assume would piss some people off. Aaron Rodgers, he currently has 24 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and is leading 11-3 or 10-3. What are they, 11-3 at this point?
Yeah.
I think they're 11-3 team. Yeah, you could talk about how he hasn't been as good as he has been in the past, but he's a quarterback for an 11-3 team. He has threw 2 interceptions in 24 touchdowns. I mean, that's a hell of a stat line. Do other people potentially make it in above him? Maybe. Maybe Kirk Cousins, who's done well, but they've lost to the Packers already. They play on Monday Night Football. Kirk Cousins has had a hell of a year, but they started out a little slow. And Russell Wilson's an MVP candidate. I mean, the NFC 3 is a tough one to crack. Very tough one to crack. Well, hello there. Utilize the promo code PAYTHEBILLS and get $20 off your first order from SeatGeek. Now, back to the magic. Although Dak and Kirk, I would assume, in any other year would deserve it. And in the AFC, Lamar Jackson is an absolute unicorn anomaly, game changer for football. I'm happy that he got the most votes. This guy's changing football. Patty Mahomes is the face of the NFL, was the face of the NFL before Lamar Jackson became the face of the NFL. Pat Mahomes gets hurt. They lose a couple games. Lamar Jackson just continues to shine. He becomes, and Deshaun Watson, the Michael Jordan of the NFL, Davos, when he said this year has had a hell of a year. Also to be noted, 4 of the 6 quarterbacks that are voted into the Pro Bowl this year are African-American quarterbacks. That is massive. Mm-hmm. That is a big storyline. They were talking about it on ESPN this morning. They were talking about it on every other show this morning. That is big news, not only for the position, but for our society, by the way. Good for our society, good for the game of football, and good for the position of quarterback to be a much more diverse position, because for a long time, the position was dominated by the richest kids, the kids who had all the best coaching for all the years, the kids who come from the best schools, the smartest people, they say. All these things were criteria that basically had to be in place for you to become a quarterback. Now it's like, hey, who's the best players? Who can make plays? Who are the guys who are the studs and stars of their team? Let's get them in there, and I'm happy the NFL is becoming a much more diverse operation, especially at the face of the team, which is the quarterback position.
Those AFC quarterbacks, if you're another AFC franchise, that's tough to look at because all 3 of those quarterbacks are very young and very good.
Tom Brady's first time not making a Pro Bowl since 2008. By the way, there's a guy that never goes to the Pro Bowl. Normally because he's in the Super Bowl. But if he's not in the Super Bowl, it's probably the same thing as me. Like, very cool to be recognized. Yeah, me and Tom, same. Very cool to be recognized. But at some point, it's just like, I mean, who gives a damn what these people say?
Especially because it feels like as a young player, it's so hard to crack into the Pro Bowl. Like this year, I saw Kuechly's in it again, and the Carolina Panthers defense has been terrible, and he is the main point of that defense.
A lot of name recognition.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, Pouncey's in for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's been in there, I think, since my first Pro Bowl. Pouncey's been
8 times, yeah.
Yeah, and he's just the name. The name
correct.
helps. And an offensive line normally gets a name game for offensive line because it doesn't get a lot of pub, but I don't think anybody gives a damn, except for the people that haven't made a Pro Bowl yet. Because you want to be able to say for the rest of your life you're a Pro Bowler. Like, for instance, I will forever be an all-pro Pat McAfee, right? Because the media, the association, whatever they are, voted me as an all-pro one time. You could say that to me. Now, granted, we lost the Super Bowl to Drew Brees, who's also an all-pro. Would have been nice to be Super Bowl champion, all-pro Pat McAfee. Even though I don't deserve either of those titles, I think you could give them to anybody at any given time. That's something you can never take away from you. And that's why the young people care about it a lot more than the older players who just want to win, I'd assume.
Well, yeah, Richard Sherman got $1 million for getting in today.
Yeah.
So that's pretty nice.
Massive. Yeah, if it wasn't for the financial benefit, like for me, the $250,000 bonus was like, let's go.
We don't even get to go to Hawaii anymore either.
Yeah, well, no, when I went, it wasn't in Hawaii either. It was in Arizona. We had to practice 3 hours into the desert.
Come on.
Yeah, and they didn't shut down the whole hotel. They had just a bunch of randoms floating around the hotel.
The bad sand, not the good sand.
I mean, whoa.
What?
Don't say that about Arizona, bro.
Beach sand's way better. Has water.
I agree. That's a desert where there is
No water. But if you crack a cactus open,
Yep, you can drink from that.
Yes.
We didn't do any
Diarrhea water,
We didn't
though.
do any cactus cracking. The only thing I did was hammer strawberry margs because it was the week after we lost to the Patriots by 400 and Deflategate was potentially happening. But I think the Pro Bowl, although when it was back in Hawaii and you were a kid, I used to be like, man, I hope I make the Pro Bowl one day. All these skills challenges, the luau's, the beautiful weather. And then I make it, and it's like in Arizona. We got a bunch of randoms in the hotel. They wanted me to go build a sidewalk in the middle of the desert. I'm like, what are we doing here? I thought this was good. I didn't think this was a bad thing.
Did they get the for the brand correct?
Brett Kern is the most underrated punter in the history of the NFL. I'm happy he gets a Pro Bowl nod from Tennessee. He's been very good for a long time. Justin Tucker, obviously, Justin Tucker's Justin Tucker. He focuses on focusing. Will Lutz, guest of the show, friend of the show, as is Justin Tucker. Brett Kern's never been on the show, huh?
No.
He and I are like friends, too.
you should change that.
We should. I don't know how much media he does. I think he's kind of a quiet guy, but he's a hell of a punter. And Tress Way has a massive leg, massive lefty there from Oklahoma. I guess he's a really good athlete. By the way, haven't seen a lot of Redskins games, so I assume he's done well.
They punt a lot.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of teams punting a lot, but he has a big old leg. I'm happy he makes it in. And Rick Lovato and Morgan Cox, good representatives for the first time long snappers, have been actually voted in as opposed to just chosen in. Good for them. They can go down for the rest of their lives as the first long snappers that were actually voted in to the Pro Bowl as opposed to just selected in by the coaches that are coaching the two teams. Good for them. Slater, stud.
How about the Chiefs? Like, I mean, if Nicole Hardman wasn't the returner, just throw Tyreek Hill back there.
Yeah, I'm very happy, like, for the brand punters that they no longer have Tyreek Hill back there, but they just found another one. You know what I mean? They found another guy in Hardman who's faster than everybody somehow. He's elusive and he has no fear, which is what a returner has to have. And Deontay Harris for the Saints, I don't think I've seen enough of him.
He's small and he's very quick.
The biggest thing for returners is the ability to be quick. If you're a kickoff returner, you got to be fast. If you're a punt returner, you got to be quick. If you have both of those, you're normally a very good returner for years and years and years. But the high football IQ, okay, to know when to take a risk and catch something, when not to for field position. And then also no fear. Like, you have to have no fear, because all I'm trying to do is hang it up there high enough that you get, like, there was a couple returners that as soon as their head would go like this, we knew they would wave fair catch because they couldn't see who was coming, right? So all you're trying to do is hit the ball high so there's no return and it's over. Some of these dudes have no fear at all. They could have 9 humans that are running 4 6s, 4 4s, 4 7s right in their face. And they're like, nope, I'm going to make something out of nothing. Whenever you have somebody like that, you got to hang on to them. And a lot of teams don't. They let them just kind of go and whatever, they figure it out. But for me, Pro Bowl, All Pro, very good honor for all these people. But I think as they get older, they'll realize that it's all just a bunch of malarkey. And that's what it is. That's all it is.
I was looking it up. Pac-Man Jones, 96 returns without a fair catch.
Yeah, that was his thing. I told him I was going to get him on one too. Whenever we played him, I was like, I'm going to get you the fair catch one. He said, not me, P-Mac. But they wouldn't put him in for pooch areas.
So that, yeah.
So, you know what I mean? They wouldn't put him in for pooch areas, which
Makes sense.
probably because, like, you don't
They
need.
knew he
they
wouldn't.
knew he wouldn't. So there's like a chance for something. But he was Pac-Man Jones he was all pro returner of the year I went in. He's unbelievable.
I love that.